Okay, this is a off-the-cuff tutorial on basic Acme usage because I think to answer your question about why do I use Acme as a programming editor, I think I should just first make a separate video covering its basic usage. So everything in Acme is text. That's the first thing you'll notice. This is pretty much the default screen you'll see when you open up Acme. And you have by default two columns. This first bar here, which again is filled with text, is like your menu bar, kind of like in Windows where you have like File, Edit, Help, etc. You can never get rid of this. This is just some empty column. And this bar controls the column. This bar controls this column. And this bar controls this window with this yellow background. Okay, so the first thing to mention is Acme is a very mouse-centric editor. The developers of Acme believed that it's quicker to do things with the mouse than with the keyboard, despite how the user of something like Vim feels when he's using Vim to navigate through a body of text. Your brain is more active because you got to think, okay, how do I move the cursor from position Y to position Z? But their argument is that instead of using keyboard keys such as H, J, K, and L to navigate around, you can just directly bring the cursor to wherever you want it, such as right here, and click. So I'm not going to argue whether that's true or not, if it's quicker to use the mouse versus the keyboard, but I'm just letting you know that Acme is designed around the mouse. It's also heavily designed around just plain old text. So there's no difference between a button and some text in Acme. Okay, first let me explain the actual buttons on the mouse and what they do. So your left click button is generally used to select some text or grab something like this nub here for the window, and you can drag the window between different columns if you want. Or we can drag this column and resize it, right? Or we can swap the columns. Now, the middle click button on the mouse, to command. So the command can either be an Acme command or a shell command. So by the way, all these words up here in this bar are commands, right? These are commands. This exit command will exit Acme. This new call command will make a new column. If I middle click this word, new call, it creates a new column. Also notice what else happened. Acme redirected the mouse cursor to where the new column was created. If I click delete column, it's gone. By the way, I middle clicked delete column. I did not left click it. If I left click delete column, I just end up selecting it. Okay. So you might be asking, what does the right button do on the mouse? The right button will open up either a file, a directory, or search for the text you clicked on inside the window. So if I go up here and I type in USR and I right click this, it opens it up. If I do the same thing here, it brings me to that open window. Notice again, it redirected the mouse cursor. If I delete this, it's gone. So I can navigate the file system by opening up directories. I can open up a text file. And I did all that with the right click. Now, if I want to search this text file for the define keyword, I can just right click it and it'll bring me to all the instances that the word define exists in this text file. So I can open up something else. Now, another cool thing with Acme is if you have if you have a C file open, such as we have here, and you have a header file that's being included, you can right click this and Acme will open it. Okay, so let's say we delete everything in our Acme window, right? We still have this bar, there's no way to delete that, but we can delete all the buttons on that bar. Now what are we gonna do? We're not gonna do anything. But what we can do is just add a command such as new call, and we have a new column. If I enter some text in over here for a directory, I can right click this directory and it will open up in a new window. Let's open up this make file here. Now, if I want to copy this body of text, I can select it by using left click. And while holding left click, I can middle click, right? I'll cut it. I'm still holding left click. If I then right click, it'll paste it. I can then paste what I just cut anywhere. Now, copying is called snarf and paste is just called paste and cut is called cut. So if I didn't want to cut this first, I could just have selected it and went up here and clicked snarf, and then I could paste it. Yeah. So another thing to note is when we do run a command such as ls, what happens is when we middle click it, Acme will check done, say, is this an Acme command? If it's not an Acme command, it says, is it a shell command? And if it's not a shell command, you get an error. So, okay, so we can ls. This is the output. You can go up here and add the exit button back. Also, there's a put command, which is the opposite of get. It saves the file. So if we said, let's just go up here. And we'll say get. All right, so now we're in my temporary directory. And let's just touch a file, foobar. And then we'll right click this to open up that file. Notice we opened it up. Say, hello there, Acme. And Acme, as we started typing, added this put command. So if we middle click it, and we go back to this directory and refresh it, we now have this file here, and it's saved. I'll even cat it. Right, so this is now the shell output. This is not the file itself. This is the shell output from this cat command. I open up the file. I can add some more text. Goodbye, Acme. Right. Okay, and notice this changed color, this little nub here. it lets the user know that this file has been not modified and not saved. So if I try to delete this, it'll give me a warning that the file's been modified. And I can, if I didn't want to save those changes, I can click it again and it will delete itself. But goodbye, Acme. So let's actually save it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not much to learn about Acme. There might be some other commands that I'm leaving out, but I mean, the rest you can look up on your own. I guess there's one more thing to add, which I didn't say. So when we modified this, right, and we clicked delete, notice again how it's redirecting the cursor to whatever was just opened, like the new focus of the window. And when we click delete, it brings the cursor back to the delete button. So Acme will move the cursor around depending on kind of what you're doing. If you're causing an action to happen in Acme where your attention's most likely to want to be on the result of that action, Acme will move the cursor over there. That's about it.